Hi, it's Hans at happierman.com. Today's topic is happiness killers. Well, you have to know what the main happiness killers are so you can avoid them and know when you're involved with the happiness killer, and maybe I'll try to touch on how you might deal with a happiness killer. Well, usually the things that cause you the most unhappiness are these big rocks. You know, we've all talked about, well, you got to get your big rocks straight so you can fill in with the little rocks around that. Well, the big rocks are the people you're with and how you spend most of your time and how you feel in general, right? So the people you're with, well, if you're married to a bad woman, you won't be happy. And I know this for a fact because I was married to someone who wasn't good for me. And until I left her, I could never be happy. So that's like the first thing. So if you have this in your life, you might want to get my book, Leave Your Wife and Become a Happier Man with a 3-step system, because on my website at happierman.com. Because a lot of men are unhappy with their wives, and a lot of wives are unhappy with their husbands. And your life, you will not thrive. You won't have much of a life. It's impossible to be happy if the person you spend most of your time with, you don't really even want to be with. So that's first. And you can apply this to all kind, you know, your live-in boyfriend, your live-in girlfriend, your roommates, your friends, your family. If you're spending too much time with people you don't really like, well, you're not going to have much of a life. The problem with a lot of people have is you may even love that person, but you don't really like being with them. They're too annoying, they're too frustrating, they're too hard on you. They have habits you don't like. They have mannerisms that drive you crazy. Well, let's just say, even if you love the person, if you don't like being with them, you're going to have to leave. I'm sorry, that's just how it is, because that's the most important thing is how you get along with the people. And are they easy to get along with? Are they easy to hang out with? Are they easy on you? And a lot of times the people that you love are not. So give that idea your number one consideration. If you've got a bad person in your life, you're probably going to have to leave that person. You're going to have to find a way to not live with them. And this is hard because usually our lives are so wrapped up with living with people and sharing expenses and sharing the burdens that trying to move away from them is enormously difficult. Well, your happiness, getting happy, is the number one goal. So if you're not happy, you're going to have to figure that out. What was the second one? How you spend your time. Well, if you know, this has a lot to do with earning an income or preparing yourself to earn an income. So older people, we're all working, and if we're not happy in how we're earning our income, it's going to be very difficult to have a good life. So you need to be doing something that, you know, that you kind of like and that kind of is good for you and that kind of mostly pays the bills and it's satisfying and you feel good on a daily basis doing it. Yes, probably not going to be great all the time, but it should be good most of the time, shouldn't it? And if it isn't, well, you're going to have to move away from it. That's just the reality of the situation. You may have to change jobs multiple times over your life. A job you have today may be bad a year from now, or 2 years, or 10 years, or 20 years from now. You got to be willing to make changes to always be increasing your happiness. What else? Well, sometimes you're maybe you're a young person, or you're trying to transition into that full-time employment, and you go to college, you go to tech school, you go to be an apprentice, you take different jobs, trying to move yourself up in preparation of something better later. Well, the same idea, right? If things aren't going that well for you in that preparing stage, you may have to make changes. You may, right? So you have to be willing to make changes. What else? Well, the third thing I think I was talking about was how you feel. And all of this is wrapped up into the first two also, that sometimes the person you're spending most of your time with, they don't make you feel good. You know, they make you kind of ill to your stomach. You can't stand to be around them. Well, that's a big sign that it's time to move on. Or the job you're doing. The second thing is the job you're doing is making you physically ill. You just can't stand to be there. You're bored out of your mind. You're stressed, or some combination of boredom and stress. Or you're just doing something that like you've got no desire to keep doing. Well, and if it doesn't make you feel good, well, you're going to have to move on from all of that. And I know all this isn't easy, right? None of this is easy. But if you want to have a good life, you're going to have to make these hard choices. You're going to have to examine your life. You're going to have to spend plenty of time and effort and energy figuring out what is amiss in your life and what would it take for you to make it not amiss, right? So give those ideas some thought. Your life, it is too important not to focus on it. All for now.